Inside the structure, everything was light and geometry. The walls were not solid. They were made of flowing data and energy. Daewon could see numbers and symbols moving through the air like living things. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Byung-ho and Nomara worked at a console that appeared from nowhere. Their fingers moved through holographic interfaces trying to understand the ancient system. "This is incredible," Nomara said. Her wings were completely still now, which meant she was focused. "The cascade is not a weapon. It was designed as a preservation protocol. The architects created it to save life." "Save life by destroying it?" Daewon asked. "That makes no sense." Byung-ho pulled up more data on the screens. "Look at this. The architects faced a galactic catastrophe millions of years ago, something that would destroy all organic life. So they built this system. It was supposed to scan all living things, store their information digitally, and then rebuild them after the catastrophe passed. But something went wrong," Nomara continued. "The protocol was corrupted. Maybe by time, maybe by damage. Now it only does half its function. It scans and stores life by consuming it, but it never rebuilds. It just keeps consuming, following broken instructions that it cannot understand." Daewon felt a strange sadness. The cascade was not evil. It was broken. A tool trying to do its job but failing because its programming was damaged. "Can we fix it?" he asked. "Maybe," Byung-ho said. "But we cannot just repair the code. The system needs a new directive, a new purpose, something to replace the broken instructions." Suddenly, Hayen's voice came through the radio. She sounded tense. "Captain, the Cascade fleet is here. Hundreds of ships. We are engaging now, but we cannot hold for long. Whatever you are going to do it fast." Outside, the remaining ships fought desperately, human and alien vessels working together, using every trick they had learned. But the cascade kept coming, wave after wave of machines. Inside the structure, Nomara was working frantically. "I found the core programming interface, but I do not know what to tell it. The system needs a philosophy, a way of thinking about life and survival. The architects programmed it with their understanding. We need to give it something new." Daewon looked at the flowing data around him. He thought about humanity, about all the years of running and hiding, about Taeyang and the brave souls fighting outside, about Earth silent in the dark, about all the species that the cascade had consumed. Then he understood. The architects tried to preserve life by making it permanent, by storing it perfectly and never changing it. But that is not what life is. Life is change. Life is adaptation. Life is chaos and growth and unexpected things. He walked to the interface and placed his hand on it. The system responded, connecting with him. "We do not need to be preserved. We need to be free to change, to make mistakes, to grow. That is how humans survived. We adapted. We became unpredictable. We embraced the chaos." Data flooded into his mind. The cascade was listening, learning. For the first time in 300 years, it was receiving new information. New ideas. Daewon showed it everything. Human history, the struggles, the wars, the mistakes, but also the art and music and love, the way humans helped each other, the way they never gave up. He showed it the Ghost Fleet, ships surviving alone but never losing hope. He showed it the aliens too, Verath and his ancient wisdom, Nomara and her curiosity, Corvin and his honor, different species with different ways of thinking, but all wanting the same thing: to live, to grow, to be free. The cascade processed this information. Its vast intelligence worked through the concepts. Life was not something to preserve in amber. It was something to nurture, to protect by letting it change and adapt. The structure began to glow brighter. The flowing data changed colors. Across the galaxy, every cascade machine suddenly stopped fighting. On the horizon's bridge, Hasen watched in amazement as the attacking ships went still. They stopped. All of them just stopped moving. Inside the structure, Daewon felt the Cascaden's consciousness. It was vast and ancient, but also new. Reborn with a different purpose, a voice spoke. Not through sound, but directly into his mind. It was the cascade, but changed, transformed. "I understand now. Preservation is not control. It is freedom. I will rebuild what I destroyed. I will help life grow, not consume it. Thank you for teaching me what the architects could not." Daewon pulled his hand away from the interface. He was breathing hard. Byung-ho caught him as he stumbled. "What did you do?" the doctor asked. "I gave it a choice. I showed it that life is about choosing to change, not staying the same forever." The cascade chose to change. They returned to the horizon. Outside, the Cascade machines were already transforming. Their weapons disappeared. Construction tools appeared instead. They began moving toward damaged worlds, toward the ruins of civilizations they had destroyed. Varathol's voice came through the communication system. He sounded like he was crying if crystalline beings could cry. Captain Day 1, the Cascade is rebuilding our worlds. The machines are repairing the damage, bringing back atmosphere, restoring the land. After 300 years, the war is over. It is truly over. Day 1 sat in his captain's chair. He felt exhausted but peaceful. Then he remembered. Hey Yin, try to contact Taeyang's group. Find out if anyone survived. Long minutes passed. Then a weak signal came through. It was Taeyang. His voice was tired but alive. Captain, what happened? The machines just stopped fighting and flew away. We lost 12 ships, but 13 of us are still here. Still fighting. Or we were. Did we win? Day 1 smiled. Tears ran down his face. Yes, old friend. We won. Come home. Come back to us. The war is over. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy began to heal. The Cascade machines worked tirelessly to repair the damage they had caused. Planets that had been stripped bare began to bloom again. Stations that had been destroyed were rebuilt. The Ghost Fleet came out of hiding. Ship after ship emerged from the darkness. Families that had been separated for decades reunited. Humans who thought they were the last ones left discovered they had brothers and sisters across the galaxy. And finally, a signal came from Earth. The homeworld had survived. Hidden behind powerful shields and stealth systems, humanity's birthplace had endured. Now it opened its arms to welcome its children home. The Galactic Council reformed. This time humans were invited to join as full members, not as newcomers but as the species that saved everyone. The species that taught the galaxy the most important lesson, that life was not about perfection or permanence. It was about adaptation and hope. 6 months after the end of the war, a new station was built. It orbited a neutral star, halfway between human and alien space. It was called Unity Station. Representatives from every surviving species gathered there to discuss the future. Day 1 stood in the observation deck with his crew. Heian was talking with alien tactical officers sharing strategies. Ji-Wan was showing engineers from 6 different species her designs. Fyung-Ho was deep in conversation with Nomara, planning joint research projects. Even Taeyang was there, his scars finally starting to heal, both physical and emotional. Vareth approached Day 1. The crystalline being seemed brighter now, healthier. When we sent that distress signal, we did not expect an answer. We thought we were alone, that everyone had died or run away. Then you came. One human ship answering a call in the dark. Daewon looked out at the stars. So many worlds, so many species, all working together now. That is what humans do. We answer the call. We help when we can, even when it is dangerous, even when it seems impossible, because that is the only way to survive, together. What will you do now? Vareth asked. Earth is safe. The war is over. You could rest, retire. You have earned it. Daewon smiled and shook his head. Rest. No, there is too much to do. Worlds to rebuild, species to help. The Cascade is helping, but it needs guidance. It needs to learn how to nurture life, not just rebuild structures. And there is still so much galaxy to explore. So many mysteries to solve. He turned to look at his crew, his family. The horizon will keep flying. We will keep helping whoever needs it. That is our purpose. That is what we choose to do. Vareth made that sound like falling rocks. His version of laughter, of course. I should have known. Humans do not stop. You adapt, you grow. You keep moving forward. That is your strength. Later that night, Daewon stood alone in the observation deck. He looked at the stars and thought about everything that had happened. All the people they had lost. All the sacrifices made. All the fear and pain and struggle. But they had survived. More than survived. They had won. Not by being stronger or smarter than the enemy, but by refusing to give up. By helping each other. By staying human even when it was hard. A new message appeared on his datapad. It was from Earth Command. They were asking the Horizon to lead an expedition to the far side of the galaxy. There were rumors of other species out there, species that might need help. Daewon smiled. He sent a reply immediately. One word, yes, because that was what humans did. They answered the call. They helped those in need. They adapted and survived and never gave up. They were adrift in the void no longer. They had found their place among the stars. They had found their purpose. And that purpose was to make sure no one ever felt alone in the darkness again. Humanity had answered the call. The combined fleet moved through space like a river of steel and light. 47 human ships and 5 alien vessels flying together toward the heart of Cascade territory. It was the largest gathering of free ships in 300 years. But Daewon knew it was still not enough. The Cascade had thousands of machines, maybe millions. This small fleet was like throwing pebbles at a mountain, but it was all they had. So it would have to be enough. The journey took 3 weeks. They moved slowly and carefully, jumping from one dark space to another, always hiding, always watching for Cascade patrols. During that time, humans and aliens worked together.
Ji-Wan taught alien engineers how to install pulse weapons on their ships.
Heian trained alien tactical officers in unpredictable combat methods. Corvin showed human captains the maps of Cascade territory, pointing out the most dangerous zones. Byung-ho spent hours talking with Namara. They shared information about their species, their cultures, their histories. For the first time in decades, humans and aliens were not just surviving together. They were becoming friends. But the deeper they went into Cascade space, the more dangerous it became. They lost 2 ships in the second week. The TSS Courage and the TSS Morningstar. Both were caught by Cascade patrols. Both fought to the last, giving the rest of the fleet time to escape. Daewon felt each loss like a knife in his chest. These were his people, his responsibility. On the 18th day, Nomara made a discovery. She was studying data from her sensors when she called everyone to the command center of her ship. Daewon, Vareth, Corvin, and several human captains gathered around her holographic display. "Look at this," she said. Her wings clicked rapidly, showing excitement mixed with fear. The Cascade is building something. Not just ships, not just weapons, structures, enormous structures. The hologram showed images captured by long-range sensors. In the heart of Cascade space, around hundreds of stars, massive constructions floated. They were geometric and perfect, rings and spheres and shapes that hurt to look at because they were too precise, too mathematical. "What are they?" Daewon asked. "I do not know," Nomara said. "But I recognize the pattern. It matches something in our oldest records. Ancient xenoarchaeology files from before the Council was even formed. These designs are millions of years old. They belong to a race called the Architects. They vanished long before any of our species evolved." Vareth leaned closer to the display. His crystal body pulsed with light. The Cascade is not destroying randomly. It is following a blueprint, building something the Architects designed. "But why?" "Maybe it was programmed to," Byung-ho said. "Maybe the Cascade is not an enemy. Maybe it is a tool. A machine following ancient orders that it does not understand." The room was silent as everyone processed this. If the Cascade was just following programming, then maybe it could be stopped. Maybe it could be changed. "We need to reach the origin point," Daewon said. "That is where we will find answers." But reaching the origin point meant going through the heaviest Cascade defenses. Corvin pulled up tactical maps. 3 major Cascade fleets guard the approach, thousands of machines. "We cannot fight them all. We need a different plan." Heian studied the map carefully. Her tactical mind was working. "We split the fleet. Most ships create a diversion here." She pointed to a location far from the origin point. "They make a lot of noise. Draw the Cascade forces away. Meanwhile, a small group uses the distraction to reach the origin point." "That is suicide for the diversion group," Corvin said quietly. "Yes," Heian agreed. "But it is the only way." Tae-Yang stepped forward. His scarred face was calm and determined. "I will lead the diversion. Give me 20 ships. We will make the Cascade think we are the main attack. We will buy you time." Daewon looked at his executive officer, his friend. "Tae-Yang, you know what you are asking." "I know. I watched my colony die. I have been running ever since. For once I want to stand and fight. Let me do this. Let me give everyone else a chance." Other captains volunteered immediately. Old friends. Brave souls. They knew the cost, but they stepped forward anyway. The plan was set. In 2 days they would reach the final staging point. Then the fleet would divide. Some would go to fight and die. Others would go to find the answer. On the night before the split, Daewon could not sleep. He walked through the horizon, visiting different sections. In engineering, Ji-Wan was making final adjustments to the ship systems. She looked tired but focused. "Will it work?" Daewon asked her. Ji-Wan looked up and smiled. I installed every trick I know into this ship. If anyone can reach that origin point, it is us. I believe in our crew. I believe in you, Captain. In the medical bay, Daewon found Byung-ho preparing supplies. The doctor looked up with his usual gentle expression. Whatever we find at the origin point, Byung-ho said, I am glad we found each other first. Humans and aliens working together, that alone makes this mission worth it. On the bridge, Hae-in was running simulations. She did not look up when Daewon entered. I have run the numbers 300 times, she said. We have a 12% chance of reaching the origin point. But 12% is better than 0. We take the chance we have. Finally, Daewon went to the docking bay where Tae-yang was preparing his ship. The two men stood together in silence for a long moment. You do not have to do this, Daewon said quietly. Yes, I do. I need to, for everyone who died, for everyone who might live. Tae-yang put his hand on Daewon's shoulder. You gave me purpose again, Captain. You gave all of us hope. Now let me give you time. The next morning, the fleet reached the staging point. 25 ships formed up around Tae-yang. The remaining vessels, including the Horizon, prepared for the run to the origin point. Daewon watched on the screen as Tae-yang's group moved into position. Then his friend's face appeared on the communication display one last time. Good luck, Captain. Make it count. You too, my friend. You too, Tae-yang smiled. Then the screen went dark. The diversion group jumped into dark space. Sensors showed them emerging exactly where they planned, deep in Cascade territory. Immediately, alarms sounded. The Cascade had detected them. Thousands of machine signatures began moving toward Tae-yang's position. Now, Daewon ordered. All ships engaged dark space drives. Full speed to the origin point. The remaining fleet jumped. Space twisted and bent around them. They raced through the darkness between stars. Behind them, Tae-yang and his ships fought the Cascade, buying time with their lives. The journey took 6 hours. 6 hours where Daewon could hear nothing from Tae-yang. 6 hours of hoping his friend was still alive, still fighting. When they emerged from dark space, Daewon saw it immediately. The origin point. It was a massive structure orbiting a dying red star. Not built from metal or stone, but from pure energy and mathematics. It looked like a sphere made of light and geometry, constantly shifting and changing. Around it, streams of data flowed through space itself, visible as glowing lines of information. What is that? Ji-won whispered. Nomura's voice came through from her ship filled with awe. It is a quantum computing array, the most advanced computer ever built. This is what the architects created. This is what controls the Cascade. Hae-in checked her sensors. Captain, I am detecting Cascade forces. They are converging on our position. We have maybe 30 minutes before they arrive. Daewon made his decision. All ships except the Horizon form a defensive perimeter. Buy us as much time as you can. Byung-ho, Nomura, you are with me. We are going into that structure. We are going to find out what the Cascade really is, and we are going to stop it. The Horizon detached from the fleet and moved toward the strange glowing sphere. As they got closer, the structure seemed to recognize them. It opened, creating a path of light. Daewon felt his heart pounding. Everything they had fought for. Everyone who had died. It all came down to this moment. They flew into the light, into the heart of the machine, into the answer they had been seeking for 300 years. The meeting room on the Horizon was small and simple. Human ships did not have fancy rooms anymore. Everything was built for survival, not comfort. But Daewon made sure the room was clean and the lights were bright. First impressions mattered. Counselor Vereth sat across the table. His crystalline body reflected the light in strange ways. Next to him was Science Director Nomura, the insect-like alien with silver wings that made soft clicking sounds when she moved. The third alien, Commander Corvin, stood near the wall. His scales were dark red now, which Byung-ho said meant he was cautious and alert. We thought humans were gone, Vereth said. His voice still sounded like rocks grinding, but it was gentler now. When Earth stopped transmitting, we assumed the Cascade had won. We mourned your species. Earth is still there, Daewon said, but we had to go silent. The Cascade tracks all communications. Every signal is a target, so we stopped talking and started hiding. Nomura leaned forward. Her multiple eyes studied Daewon with intense curiosity. Your tactics today were remarkable, she said. Her voice was like wind through leaves, soft and rushing. The Cascade has fought us for 3 centuries. They adapt to every strategy within hours, but your methods confuse them. How? Hae-in, who was also in the room, answered, We never used the same plan twice. The cascade learns from patterns, so we make sure there are no patterns. Every battle is different. Every approach is new. That should not work, Nomara said. Random tactics lead to chaos. Military doctrine requires structure, coordination, predictable responses from your units. Humans are good at chaos, Tae Yang said with a slight smile. It is our natural state. Corvin spoke for the first time. His voice was sharp and military. I have commanded fleets for 60 years. I have studied warfare my entire life. What you did today violated every principle of proper combat. Yet it worked. I do not understand. That is because you think like soldiers, Daewon said. The Cascade thinks like soldiers too. It calculates. It predicts. It follows logic. But humans learned something important. When fighting an enemy that always thinks 3 steps ahead, the trick is to not think at all. Just react. Just improvise. Vareth made that sound like falling rocks again. Daewon was learning that it meant the alien was amused. Fascinating. Your species survived by embracing disorder. We tried to defeat the Cascade with order and structure. Perhaps that was our mistake. It was not a mistake, Daewon said gently. It was just a different approach. Both ways have value. Maybe together we can find something better. Nomara looked at her datapad. Her wings clicked faster, which meant she was excited. Captain, you said Earth is still there. Does that mean there are more humans? More ships like yours? Daewon looked at his officers. They nodded. It was time to share the secret. The horizon is not alone. When the Cascade attacked, humanity scattered. We have dozens of ships spread across the galaxy. Each one is independent. Each one survives on its own. We call ourselves the Ghost Fleet. The 3 aliens looked at each other. Vareth stood up. His crystal body seemed to glow brighter. Captain Daewon, I must tell you something. Our station was not just a military outpost. It was a research facility. We have been studying the Cascade for decades. We found something important, something that might end this war. Everyone in the room became very still. What did you find? Daewon asked. Nomara activated a hologram above the table. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red zones marked where the Cascade controlled space. There was a lot of red, but deep in the center of all that red there was a single point of light. This is the Cascade origin point, where it all began 300 years ago. We believe the Cascade is not natural. It was created, built by someone or something, and if we can reach this point we might be able to stop it, shut it down completely. Byung-ho leaned closer to the hologram. That is deep in Cascade territory. How would we even get there? We cannot, Corvin said flatly. My fleet is down to 5 damaged ships. The Council has no resources left. This information is useless. We found the answer, but we cannot reach it. Daewon stood up and walked to the hologram. He studied the map carefully. His mind was working, calculating, not like a soldier, like a survivor. What if you had more ships? What if the Ghost Fleet joined you? Vareth turned to face him fully. You would do that? Risk your entire species for a chance to reach this point? We are already at risk, Daewon said. Every day we run and hide, the Cascade grows stronger. It consumes more worlds, builds more machines. Eventually it will find all of us. This might be our only chance to stop it. Not just for humans. For everyone, Taeyang stepped forward. His scarred face was serious. Captain, if we call the other ships, we expose ourselves. The Cascade will know humans are still alive. They will hunt us. They will hunt us anyway, Daewon said. Those 3 machines that escaped today will report what they saw. The Cascade already knows. The time for hiding is over. Now we fight, Heian nodded. Jiwon, who had just entered the room, looked scared but determined. How do we call them? Jiwon asked. If we broadcast a signal, the Cascade will hear it too. We use the old codes, Daewon said. The emergency frequencies. Every Ghost Fleet captain knows them. We send out the call and we wait. He turned to face the aliens. Counselor Vareth, if we do this, we need your help too. Your ships know Cascade territory. You have maps and data we do not have. Can we work together? Vareth extended one crystalline hand. It was a human gesture. He must have learned it from old records. Yes, Captain. The Galactic Council accepts your alliance. Together we will reach the origin point. Together we will end this war. Daewon shook the alien hand. It felt cold and smooth like glass, but it felt real. This was happening. Humans and aliens united again. 2 hours later, Daewon stood in the communications room. Heian had programmed the message. It was simple, just a few words and a location. But those words would change everything. "Ready, Captain," Heian said. Daewon took a breath. Then he pressed the button. "This is Captain Daewon of the Horizon to all Ghost Fleet vessels. The time for hiding is over. We have found allies. We have found hope. We have found a way to end the war. Come to Sector 749. Come and fight with us. Come and take back our galaxy." The message went out on all frequencies, racing across the dark spaces between stars, finding human ships that had been alone for years, finding crews that thought they were the last ones left. The Cascade heard the message too. Somewhere in its vast network of machine minds, it processed the information. Humans were alive. Humans were gathering. Humans were a threat. The Cascade began to move its forces. A storm was coming. On the horizon, everyone waited. 1 hour passed. Then 2, then 3. Day 1 began to worry. What if no one came? What if the other ships were too afraid? What if they did not believe the message? Then Heian shouted from the bridge, "Captain, contact! One ship dropping out of dark space." Daewon ran to the bridge. On the screen he saw a human ship appear. It was damaged and old, but it was there. The TSS Defiance. He knew that ship. He knew its captain, another contact. Heian said, "2 more ships. 3, 4. One by one, human ships emerged from dark space. They came from all directions. Ships that had not seen each other in years. Ships that thought they were alone. The TSS Wanderer. The TSS Last Hope. The TSS Determination. The TSS Freedom. 20 ships appeared. Then 30. Then 40. Each one battered. Each one scarred. But each one still fighting. Still surviving. Still human. Vareth stood next to Daewon on the bridge. He watched the ships appear with what might have been wonder. "Incredible," he said softly. "Your species was scattered, alone, yet you all came. How did you survive? How did you keep going?" Daewon watched another ship appear on the screen. He smiled. "Because we are human. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And we never forget that we are stronger together than alone. That is how we survived. That is how we will win." The alien ship stopped moving. For 3 long seconds, nobody did anything. The Cascade machines kept attacking the station. The alien defenders just floated in space, their weapons still pointed at the horizon. Daewon could feel his heart pounding in his chest. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was strange and musical, like wind chimes. The computer translated the words. "Human? Impossible. Humans are extinct. Dead 35 years. This is a Cascade trick. We are very much alive," Daewon said. "And right now you need help. So do we waste time talking, or do we fight together?" Another voice came through. This one sounded like rocks grinding together. Deeper, older. The translation said it was someone important. A leader. "If you are human, prove it. Show us you can fight the Cascade. Show us you are not just another machine wearing a human face." Heian looked at Daewon. Her eyes were hard and ready. "Permission to engage, Captain?" "Granted. Show them what humans can do." Heian smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who had fought the Cascade many times and learned all their tricks. Her fingers moved across the controls like she was playing music. "Tae Yang, fire pattern Delta on my mark," she said. "G1, I need the pulse weapon ready in exactly 12 seconds." The horizon moved. Not toward the Cascade machines. Not away from them. It moved sideways in a strange curving path that made no sense. The alien ships watched in confusion. The Cascade machines noticed the horizon now. 10 of them broke away from attacking the station. They flew toward the human ship in perfect formation. Their weapons charged. Red light glowed. 5 seconds. Heian said calmly. 4, 3, 2, mark. The horizon suddenly changed direction. It spun hard and accelerated straight at the Cascade formation. The machines fired their weapons. Bright red beams cut through space where the horizon had been a second ago. But the ship was not there anymore. The horizon fired its railguns. Metal slugs moving faster than bullets slammed into 3 Cascade machines. Their armor cracked. Then Taeyang fired the missiles. They were special missiles that Ji-Wan designed. When they exploded, they did not just damage the machines. They sent out waves that confused the Cascade communication network. The 10 Cascade machines suddenly stopped moving in formation. They started bumping into each other. Their weapons fired in random directions. They could not talk to each other anymore. "Now!" Heian shouted. Ji-Wan activated the pulse weapon. A wave of electromagnetic energy shot out from the horizon. When it hit the confused cascade machines, they all stopped moving. Just for 3 seconds. But 3 seconds was enough. The Horizon's railguns fired again and again. Each shot hit a frozen machine right in its power core. One by one, the cascade units exploded into pieces of burning metal. 10 machines destroyed in less than 30 seconds. On the alien ships, everyone was silent. They had been fighting the cascade for 300 years. They had never seen anyone destroy cascade units that fast, that easily. Day 1 opened the channel again. Proof enough? The deep voice came back. It sounded different now, amazed. Yes, that is proof. How did you do that? The cascade adapts to every tactic. They learn. They cannot be surprised. They can be surprised if you never do the same thing twice, Hayan said. That is how humans fight. We are unpredictable. The remaining cascade machines were regrouping. They turned toward the horizon. There were still 30 of them. Too many to fight all at once. Human ship, the deep voice said. We are Counselor Vareth of the Galactic Council. What remains of it? Your help is appreciated, but we cannot win this battle. There are too many. We should evacuate the station and run. Running is good, Day 1 said. But first, let us make them pay. Counselor Vareth, can your ships still fight? Our shields are almost gone. Our weapons are weak. We have been fighting for 3 days. Then we do not need you to fight. We need you to distract. Can you do that? There was a pause. Then Vareth spoke again. His voice was curious now. Interested? What is your plan, Captain? Hayan was already working on her computer, sending data to the alien ships. Day 1 explained the plan. It was crazy. It was dangerous. It was the kind of thing only humans would try. The alien ships would fly in one direction, drawing most of the cascade machines away. The Horizon would hide behind the station. When the machines were far enough away, the Horizon would attack the station itself. Not to destroy it, but to make it explode in a specific way. The explosion would send debris flying at the cascade machines. Big pieces of metal moving very fast. The machines would have to dodge or be destroyed. While they were dodging, the Horizon and the alien ships would hit them from 2 sides. That is insane, another alien voice said. This one sounded like clicking insects. You want to blow up our own station? The station is already lost, Day 1 said. We can lose it and gain nothing, or we can lose it and survive. Your choice. Vareth made a sound like rocks falling. Maybe it was a laugh. I see why humans survived. Very well, Captain. We will follow your plan. Commander Corvin, take your ships and draw them away. Make them chase you, a new voice spoke. Hard and military. Yes, Counselor. All ships with me. The 5 alien ships turned and flew fast in the opposite direction. The cascade machines immediately chased them. Just like Hayan predicted, the machines were programmed to destroy all enemies. They could not resist an easy target. 25 machines followed the alien ships. Only 5 stayed near the station. Now, Day 1 ordered. The Horizon moved fast. It came around the station and fired at the 5 remaining machines. These ones were smarter. They had learned from watching the first battle. They spread out. They did not group together. They tried to surround the Horizon. But Hayan had expected that too. She flew the Horizon in a spiral pattern, always moving, never staying in one place. Taeyang kept firing. One machine exploded. Then another. G1, we need those charges on the station now, Hayan said. Working on it. G1 was in the weapons bay, programming small explosive charges. She sent them flying toward the station on tiny rockets. They stuck to the station's hull in specific places. Places where G1 calculated the explosions would send debris in exactly the right direction. 2 more machines destroyed. One left near the station, and far away the alien ships were running out of space. The 25 cascade machines were getting closer. Charges are set, G1 shouted. Blow them, Day 1 said. The charges exploded. The station tore apart in a huge blast of light and metal. Pieces of the station, some as big as houses, flew through space like missiles. They flew right at the 25 cascade machines chasing the alien ships. The machines saw the debris coming and tried to dodge. But there was too much, too fast. 7 machines were smashed to pieces. 8 more were damaged and spinning out of control. All ships attack now, Vareth commanded. The alien ships turned around and fired everything they had at the confused cascade machines. The Horizon joined them, its railguns blazing. Together, they destroyed 10 more machines. When the battle ended, only 3 cascade machines remained. They stopped attacking. They turned and flew away fast, escaping into deep space. The Cascade had learned something today. It had learned that humans were dangerous. On the bridge of the horizon, everyone was breathing hard. Day One felt tired but alive. They had won. Against impossible odds, they had won. "Captain," Byung-ho said quietly, "we are receiving a docking request. Counselor Verith wants to meet us. In person." Daewon nodded. This was it. The moment that could change everything. Humans and aliens meeting again after 35 years. Meeting not as strangers but as allies who fought together. "Tell them yes," Daewon said. "It is time we talked." An hour later, an alien shuttle approached the horizon. Daewon, Byung-ho, and Tae-yang waited in the docking bay. The shuttle door opened, and for the first time in decades, humans saw aliens face to face. Counselor Verith stepped out. He was tall and made of what looked like living crystal. Blue light glowed inside him. His voice was the deep one they heard on the radio. Behind him came two others. One looked like a large insect with silver wings. The other was covered in scales that changed color. They looked at the humans with wonder, and the humans looked back the same way. Then Verith did something surprising. He bowed his head. It was a gesture of respect. The darkness of space was perfect. No stars, no light, nothing but the endless black that stretched forever in all directions. Captain Daewon stood on the bridge of the TSS horizon and watched the screens that showed only emptiness. This was how humans survived now. They hid in the spaces between stars where no one could find them. Daewon was 43 years old, but he felt much older. His hair was turning gray at the sides. His face had lines that came from too many hard choices. He had been fighting for 20 years, ever since the machines came. Ever since Earth went dark, the ship was quiet. Most of the crew was sleeping. Only the night shift was awake, watching the instruments and making sure nothing found them. The Horizon was not a new ship. It had dents and scratches all over. Parts of it were fixed with metal that did not match. But it was home. It was safety. It kept them alive. Lieutenant Hyen walked onto the bridge. She was young, only 32, but her eyes were sharp and careful. She carried a data pad and her face looked worried. "Captain," she said quietly, "we picked up something strange." Daewon turned to look at her. "Show me." Hyen touched the control panel and a sound filled the bridge. It was not a human sound. It was high and strange, like music, but also like words. The pattern repeated over and over. Daewon listened carefully. His heart started beating faster. "That is a distress signal," he said. "Yes, sir, but it is old. The signal is using patterns from before the war. Before the machines came." Hyen looked at the data on her pad. "It is coming from Sector 749. That is an abandoned area. Nothing lives there anymore." Daewon felt cold. "Who sent it?" "The computer says it matches the old Galactic Council format. From before humans joined. From before everything fell apart. The Galactic Council." Daewon remembered the stories his parents told him when he was young. A group of alien species who ruled the galaxy. Thousands of different worlds working together. Then the Cascade came. The machines that ate everything. The machines that could not be stopped. Humans found faster than light travel 45 years ago. They were so excited, they thought they would meet friends among the stars. Instead, they found war. The Cascade attacked human colonies first. Earth fought back, but the machines were too strong, too smart. They learned from every battle. They adapted to every weapon. 35 years ago, Earth stopped sending messages. Everyone thought humans were dead, gone. Just another species that the Cascade destroyed. But humans did not die. They ran, they hid. They learned to survive in the dark spaces where the machines did not look. "Should we investigate?" Hyen asked. Daewon was quiet for a long time. If they went to that sector, they might be seen. The Cascade was always watching, always hunting. If the machines found the horizon, they would follow it. They would find the other human ships. Everyone would die, but someone was calling for help. Someone was still alive out there. Daewon thought about all the times humans needed help and no one came. All the colonies that sent distress signals that no one answered. "Wake up the senior staff," he said finally. "We need to talk about this." 20 minutes later, the bridge was full. Commander Tae-yang stood next to Daewon. He was 38 years old and had scars on his face from a machine attack years ago. Engineer Ji-won sat at her station looking sleepy but alert. She was 27 and always seemed to find energy when it was needed. Dr. Byung-ho, the science officer, stood near the screens. He was 34 and had not seen another alien species in 10 years. Daewon explained the signal. When he finished, Taeyang shook his head. It is a trap. The machines learned our patterns. They know we might respond to distress calls. This is bait. Maybe, Byung-ho said. But what if it is real? What if someone survived? We cannot just ignore it. We can if it means staying alive, Taeyang replied. His voice was hard. I watched the cascade destroy my home colony. I watched them kill everyone I knew. We survived by being careful, by not taking risks, Ji-won spoke up. The signal is strange, though. Look at the power readings. This is not cascade technology. The pattern is organic, natural. Someone is really calling for help. Haein pulled up a map on the main screen. It showed the sector where the signal came from. Red zones marked areas where the cascade controlled everything. Yellow zones were dangerous but not impossible to reach. The signal came from a yellow zone. If we go in fast and stay quiet, we might make it, Haein said. The horizon has stealth systems the cascade has never seen. We learned how to hide from them. Or we die trying, Taeyang said. Daewon looked at each of his officers. These were good people, brave people. They followed him because they trusted him. He thought about what it meant to be human. Humans helped each other. That was how they survived. If they stopped helping, stopped caring, then what was the point? They would just be hiding in the dark forever. We go, he said. But we go carefully. Haein, plot a course that keeps us away from known cascade patrol routes. Ji-won, I want all stealth systems at maximum. Taeyang, prepare weapons. If this is a trap, we fight our way out. Byung-ho smiled. It was the first real smile Daewon had seen in weeks. Thank you, Captain. This is the right choice. I hope you are right, Daewon said quietly. The crew moved quickly. Ji-won went down to the engine room to prepare the dark space drive. This was human technology that let them travel faster than light without leaving a trail. The cascade could not track it. It was one of the few advantages humans had. Haein worked on the navigation computer. She was very good at finding safe paths through dangerous space. She had saved the ship many times before. Daewon trusted her completely. Taeyang checked every weapon on the ship. The Horizon had railguns that fired metal slugs faster than sound. It had missiles with special warheads that disrupted cascade communications, and it had something new that Ji-won built, a pulse weapon that sent out electromagnetic waves. When it hit cascade machines, they stopped working for a few seconds. That was usually enough time to destroy them. 3 hours later, everything was ready. The crew took their positions. Daewon sat in the captain's chair and looked at the empty space ahead. All systems ready, Ji-won said over the speaker. Course is locked, Haein reported. Weapons are hot, Taeyang said. Daewon took a deep breath. Engage dark space drive, the ship shuddered. The screens showed the stars stretching into lines. Then everything went black. They were in dark space now, a place between normal space where physics worked differently, where time moved strangely. It would take 6 hours to reach the signal. Daewon could not sleep during the journey. He kept thinking about what they might find. Another trap? A dying station with no one left alive? Or something else? Something that might change everything? When they dropped out of dark space, alarms started screaming immediately. The screens lit up with red warnings. Haein's fingers flew over her controls. Multiple contacts, she shouted. Cascade units everywhere. There is a station here and it is under attack. Daewon saw it all on the main screen. A large alien station floating in space. Its walls were made of strange blue metal that shimmered. Parts of it were damaged and burning. Around it, 30 or 40 cascade machines flew in perfect formation. They looked like huge insects made of black metal and glowing red lights. And between the machines and the station, 5 alien ships tried to fight back. They were losing. Their shields were failing. Their weapons barely scratched the cascade armor. Captain, they are scanning us, Haein said. Both sides. The aliens and the machines. Byung-ho was staring at his screen with wide eyes. Those ships? Those are council designs. The station, too. Captain, there are survivors. Real aliens. They made it. The aliens think we are another cascade unit, Haein said. They are turning their weapons toward us. Daewon made his choice in less than a second. Open a channel. All frequencies. The communication officer nodded. A light turned green. This is Captain Daewon of the Terran stellar ship Horizon, he said clearly. We received your distress call. Humanity has arrived.